My name is Helen, though no one in this house has called me that in years. To them, I'm mom when money is needed, her when blame is passed, and the old lady when they think I can't hear. It's strange, isn't it? How the woman who once held their small hands, wiped their tears, stayed awake through their fevers, becomes an inconvenience the moment she grows slower. How love becomes memory, and memory becomes burden. I live with my son, Adam, and his wife, Vanessa, here in Portland. People see the pretty house, the trimmed lawn, the framed photos on the hallway wall, and say, "Oh, Helen, you must be so happy here. What a lovely family." Lovely. If only walls could speak. If only they heard the words that never leave bruises, but cut deeper than any blade. You see, I once had my own small home. Not big, not fancy, but mine. A white little cottage with lilacs outside my window. I spent every spring watching those purple petals dance in the wind. But after I slipped in the kitchen and fractured my hip, Adam said, "Mom, come live with us. We'll take care of you. You shouldn't be alone." I believed him. Perhaps that was my first mistake. Because the moment I arrived, Vanessa's smile froze. She didn't want me here, not in her kitchen, not in her routines, not in her life. When I opened a drawer, "Helen, that's my drawer." When I asked about dinner, "Please stop interfering." When I walked too slowly, "God, she's so loud." The silence between us was not peace, it was punishment. But the moment I realized something was terribly wrong was a moment I was never meant to hear. One Sunday morning, I was rinsing my teacup when I heard Vanessa whispering on the phone. Her tone was honeyed, gentle, a tone she never used with me. "Yes, the lawyer said once she's declared mentally incompetent, everything can go under Adam's name. Yes, the cottage too." My hand froze. The cup slipped. Glass shattered in the sink. They weren't caring for me. They weren't helping me. They were preparing to erase me. And that was the moment I stopped being the old lady. I became something else entirely. After that day, I began watching them with new eyes. Eyes that had seen betrayal before. Eyes that had survived life's darkest corners. It began with little things. Insignificant to a stranger, but sharp to me. My medication bottles moved to different places. Mail addressed to me disappearing. Keys misplaced, but only when Vanessa handled them. Important papers from my cottage file going missing. And every time something went wrong, Vanessa would sigh dramatically and say, "Oh, Adam, your mom is forgetting again. It's getting worse." Worse? The only thing getting worse was their desperation. One afternoon, I found my bank statements missing from the drawer I always kept them in. I asked calmly, "Vanessa, have you seen my papers? I need them." She smiled that cold, perfect smile that never touched her eyes. "Oh, Helen, are you sure you didn't misplace them? You've been confused lately." Confused. That word became their weapon. They planted it everywhere in conversations, in whispers, in casual remarks to neighbors. "She's slipping. She's forgetful. We're worried about her mind." I wanted to scream. But I didn't, because screaming is what they expected. Screaming would make me unbalanced. Screaming would help their case, so I stayed silent, because silence is a weapon too. I began writing everything down in a small notebook I hid under my mattress. Every lie, every whisper, every strange movement, every missing item. They thought I was losing my mind, but I was documenting theirs. The worst part was Adam, my own son. The boy whose first steps I clapped for, the boy whose scraped knees I bandaged. The boy I defended from his own father looked at me with tired annoyance. "Mom, maybe Vanessa's right. Maybe you are forgetting things." My chest tightened so painfully I had to grip the counter to steady myself. But I didn't cry. Not then, not in front of them. Because the storm inside me was no longer sadness. It was awakening. 3 weeks passed. 3 weeks of walking carefully through a house that no longer felt like a home. 3 weeks of pretending I did not notice the shadows shifting around me. Then came the day everything sharpened into focus. Vanessa had gone out in the afternoon. Adam was in his home office on a work call. The house was quiet, the kind of quiet where you can hear the refrigerator hum. I walked past their bedroom to get my knitting basket from the hallway. That's when I heard it. Vanessa's voice, recorded on speakerphone, playing from Adam's computer. Once she's declared incompetent, the doctor signs the form. After that, the court will transfer her assets under your management. It's perfectly legal, Adam. Families do it all the time. My hands froze midair. Then Adam's voice, low, tired, but disturbingly calm. I just want it done before summer. Selling the cottage will give us enough for the down payment. Down payment? For what? A new house, a new life. Without me? The chair creaked as Adam leaned back. What if she refuses the evaluation? The lawyer laughed, a cold, confident sound. She won't have a choice. You're her next of kin. You can schedule it without her consent. My heart slammed against my ribs, without my consent. Every step I'd been suspecting, every tiny manipulation, every quiet lie, it all crystallized at once. They weren't waiting for me to fall apart. They were creating the fall. I backed away from the door quietly, careful not to breathe too loudly. My hands shook so hard I had to grip the wall. I went to my room, closed the door softly, and sat on the bed. And for the first time since childhood, I felt truly hunted. But fear cannot survive long in a heart trained by decades of storms. I whispered to myself, no more watching, no more waiting. If they wanted war, they were going to get it. Now that I knew their plan, I needed mine. And my plan began with one thought: to fight people who think you're weak, you must first let them believe it. So I started making small mistakes on purpose. Putting my cup in the wrong cabinet, asking Adam to repeat something, pausing in the hallway as if I'd forgotten where I was going. Vanessa noticed immediately. She whispered proudly one night, "You see, it's getting worse." Good, let her think so. But I also did something else, something important. Every evening, when they were asleep, I wrote down everything I heard, everything I saw, every lie they told. I hid those notes in the lining of my old winter coat. The coat no one touches. Then, quietly, I made a list of people they didn't know I still spoke to: my old friend Mary, my neighbor from the cottage, and the attorney who helped my husband and me 20 years ago. I wasn't alone. I just needed to move like a shadow until the right moment arrived. I didn't sleep that night. How could I? Every time I closed my eyes, I heard Vanessa's voice again. Once she's declared mentally incompetent. Those words crawled into my chest like thorns. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, remembering the woman I used to be. Once, I ran an entire bakery by myself. Once, I did 3 jobs to keep Adam in school. Once, my hands didn't shake like leaves. Once, my voice mattered in my own house. And now I was a burden, a problem. A signature standing between Vanessa and money. I knew I had to be careful. One wrong move, one misplaced reaction, and they would say, "See, she's confused again." So I pretended nothing had happened. I got up early, cooked breakfast, smiled at Vanessa when she walked in wearing her silky robe. She didn't smile back. She rarely did. But that day, I began watching, really watching. Quiet people like me learn to see everything. First thing I noticed, my mail, my personal letters, never reached me. I saw them tucked inside a kitchen drawer one morning when Vanessa forgot to close it. Bank letters, medical letters, pension updates, all hidden. Second thing, my prescription bottle. I take a small white pill for my memory, not because I have a problem, but because the doctor said it helps clarity. One evening, I opened the bottle and found different pills. Bigger yellow ones, not mine. My hands went cold. Were they trying to make me groggy, forgetful, unsteady? Or were they collecting proof for the future? The third thing, my jewelry box. A few pieces were missing: my wedding earrings, a small gold chain. I asked Adam and he shrugged. "Mom, maybe you misplaced them. You've been a little scattered." Scattered. The word burned. But the fourth thing, that's what confirmed everything. One afternoon, they thought I was sleeping. Their bedroom door was cracked open. I heard Vanessa's voice, sharp and impatient. "Adam, we need to move faster. The lawyer said if she forgets anything important again, it strengthens our case. Just watch her, record her when she repeats herself, get evidence." Adam sighed. "Vanessa, she's my mother. And she's blocking our life. We deserve better than being stuck here with her old house. We need that money." That cottage is worth 300,000. Do you want a future or not? Silence. Then Adam said something I never thought I'd hear from my own son. "Oh, fine." My chest tightened. The betrayal stung more deeply than any disrespect. My own child, my only child, selling me piece by piece. I walked back to my room, careful not to make a sound. I sat on the edge of my bed, gripping the blanket like a lifeline. I realized then I had no one, no voice, no allies, no place in this house except as a stepping stone to their wealth. But something else rose inside me that moment. A strength I hadn't felt in years. A stubbornness older than both of them combined. If they wanted to declare me incompetent, if they wanted to erase me, if they wanted to take what my husband and I built with our own hands, they were about to learn who Helen really was. Because the game they started, I could play it better, and my first move was already forming in my mind. The next morning, I made a decision. I would stop reacting like a victim and start acting like someone dangerous to underestimate. So I began acting, not foolishly, not dramatically, subtly, quietly, enough to confuse them, enough to make them show their true colors fully. At breakfast, I pretended to look for my spoon in the sugar bowl. Vanessa watched me with narrowed eyes, hiding a smile. "See, Adam, she's slipping again." Inside, I wanted to slap that smile off her face. Outside, I lowered my eyes and murmured, "Oh dear, I must be tired." At tea time, I forgot where the cups were. In the evening, I asked twice about dinner plans. When Adam asked if I took my medicine, I looked away and said, "I don't remember." Their excitement was ugly. They tried to hide it, but I saw the spark in Vanessa's eyes, like a hunter spotting injured prey. They whispered more, planned more, spoke carelessly in front of me, believing I was fading. But here's the beauty of age: people forget older women used to be young women with sharp minds. I was quiet, yes. Soft-spoken, yes. But stupid? Never. I had spent my youth studying people, understanding their intentions from the smallest expression. And once upon a time, I was a bookkeeper. Numbers, documents, loopholes, those were my weapons. So while they plotted, I prepared. I stopped sleeping early. At night, when the house was silent, I sat at the small desk in my room and wrote everything down. The false pills, the hidden letters, the whispers, the dates, the times, the conversations, the attempts to make me look forgetful. I became my own detective. I hid my notes inside an old coat lining where no one would ever look. I recorded small audio clips on a cheap recorder I bought years ago. I stored evidence like a squirrel preparing for winter. Meanwhile, Vanessa pushed harder. She made me repeat myself on purpose. She moved objects to claim I misplaced them. She insulted me openly now, confident I was halfway gone. One night, she said loudly, "Adam, she asked me the same thing 3 times today. 3, she's not okay, we need to do something." Adam sighed. He looked tired, but he nodded. I saw the guilt flicker once, then die. That night, he came to my door. "Mom," he said softly, "can we talk? I think we need to take you to a specialist, just to see how your memory is doing." A test, a trap, a legal setup. I lowered my eyes and played along. "Oh yes, dear, maybe I should." Inside, I smiled, a hard, cold smile. Because I knew something they didn't. The doctor they picked, I had met him years ago. He treated my husband once. He liked me. He trusted me. And more importantly, he never liked Vanessa. The pieces were aligning. But before I made my move, I needed one more thing. One more final piece of evidence. And the universe handed it to me the next day in a way even I couldn't have predicted. The day before the doctor's appointment, Vanessa got dressed early. Too early. Makeup flawless, hair perfect. She looked like a woman preparing for a very important conversation, not a regular Sunday morning. She left the house in a hurry. I noticed she didn't bring her purse, just her phone. Strange. Adam followed 20 minutes later, saying he needed groceries. At 7:20 a.m., groceries? My bones told me the truth. They were meeting someone. Probably the lawyer Vanessa whispered to on the phone. And that morning, luck was finally on my side. As soon as the door shut, I grabbed my cane, put on my coat, and stepped outside. The cold air hit my lungs like needles, but I kept walking, one slow step at a time. Where would they go? Vanessa loved quiet places, cafes, her favorite bakery on Oak Street. I headed there, and I was right. Through the cafe window, I saw them sitting across from a man in a navy blue suit, a lawyer. I recognized him from the neighborhood magazine, estate planning specialist. I stood behind a tree, hidden but close enough to hear murmurs. "She's becoming unpredictable," Vanessa said. "Yesterday she asked me where the salt was, and it was right in front of her." She laughed lightly. Adam nodded sadly, as if rehearsed. The lawyer leaned in. "Good. Courts rely heavily on consistent patterns of decline. You need to document everything. Photos, videos, written logs." My fingers clenched around my cane. Then Vanessa's next words made my stomach churn. "The cottage, how soon can we liquidate it after she's declared incompetent?" The lawyer smiled. "That depends on how quickly the court signs off. But once she's under your guardianship, you'll have control." Guardianship. A word that tasted like poison. Adam's voice was low. "So once this is done, she won't have a say in anything?" "Correct," the lawyer replied. My breath hitched. I wanted to storm inside, slam my cane on the table, tell them I heard everything. But that would ruin the plan. I had to remain invisible, unremarkable, forgetful. I stepped back quietly, and that's when the universe gave me the gift I needed. Vanessa's phone buzzed. She picked it up, annoyed, then stepped outside to answer it. The door didn't fully close. Their voices spilled into the street. "Yes, everything is going perfectly. She's falling apart. Honestly, I don't know why Adam hasn't put her in a home yet. She's slow, confused, useless, and I can't live with her much longer." I froze. Not because of her words. I already knew she hated me, but because someone else walked up to her and said, "Did you switch the pills again?" Vanessa nodded. "She'll be disoriented enough by tomorrow. The doctor will see it." The pills, the pills, she wasn't just lying about my memory. She was drugging me. That moment changed everything. I wanted to scream, cry, collapse. But I felt something stronger than pain, absolute clarity. I turned around, walked back home, and sat at my desk. And for the first time in this entire nightmare, I knew exactly how I would destroy them. The next morning, I woke up before everyone. I dressed neatly, a soft blue sweater, my pearl earrings, and a coat my husband gave me years ago. If they were taking me to a doctor, I wanted them to think I was exactly what they believed. Frail, confused, slipping. But inside, I was sharper than ever. Vanessa knocked on my door. "Ready, Helen?" Her smile was sugary sweet, like poison dipped in honey. "Yes, dear," I said softly, pretending to struggle with my shoes. Adam helped me into the car. As he buckled my seatbelt, I saw guilt in his eyes, a tiny flicker, but guilt without action is useless. The clinic was quiet, the receptionist polite. They led me to a room with soft lights and a table full of memory tests, just like Vanessa wanted. And the doctor? Dr. Harris, a man who once ate apple pie in my kitchen when I treated his wife for a migraine. He recognized me instantly. "Helen, it's been a while." Vanessa squeezed Adam's hand, not liking that he knew me. I smiled softly. "Yes, dear, life takes us in circles, doesn't it?" The exam began. Vanessa stood in the corner, watching like a hawk, waiting for me to fail, waiting for me to slip. "Helen," the doctor said, "can you remember 3 words? Apple, train, window?" I pretended to think, hesitated, then repeated them perfectly. Vanessa's smile faded. Another test, and another, and another. I passed all of them. Her jaw tightened. Then came the moment I was waiting for. "Helen," Dr. Harris asked, "have you been feeling confused lately?" I lowered my eyes. "Actually, doctor, I have been feeling strange." Vanessa almost jumped with joy. She leaned forward, eyes bright. I continued softly, "Ever since someone switched my medication." Silence. Vanessa froze, the doctor frowned. "Switched your medication? Which pills?" I pulled out a small bag from my pocket. Inside were the yellow pills Vanessa planted. "These showed up in my bottle. They are not mine." Dr. Harris took them, examined them, and his entire expression changed. "These are sedatives, Very strong, dangerous at your age. Who gave you these? Dead silence. Adam stared at the floor. Vanessa opened her mouth, but nothing came out. And then I delivered the final blow. I believe someone in my home has been trying to make me appear incompetent. I brought notes, dates, recordings. I placed a folder on the table. The doctor looked furious. Mrs. Collins, this is elder abuse, serious elder abuse. Vanessa went pale, completely drained. Adam looked like he was going to throw up. The doctor stood abruptly. This needs to be reported immediately. Helen, you will not be going home with them today. And that was the very moment, their entire plan collapsed. The clinic arranged emergency social services immediately. A caseworker spoke to me privately, away from Adam and Vanessa. Helen, do you feel safe living with them? Safe. The word felt like a joke. I looked at the caseworker and said calmly, no, and I have the proof you need. When she opened my evidence folder, her face changed completely. The notes, the recordings, the list of missing pills, the dates, the screenshots I had taken of mail they hid, the audio clip of Vanessa talking about selling my cottage. Within 1 hour, everything moved like a storm. Police arrived at the clinic. A detective asked me questions gently. Another officer questioned Adam and Vanessa separately. I watched through the office window as Vanessa lost the last bit of confidence she ever had. She tried to argue, deny, cry, blame stress, blame misunderstandings, blame me. But the evidence crushed her. Adam didn't defend her. For the first time in years, he defended me. Mom, I'm sorry, I don't know how I let this happen. I didn't respond. I wasn't ready to forgive, not yet. Within 2 hours, the police escorted Vanessa out in handcuffs, charged with elder abuse, fraud, tampering with medication, theft. Her head hung low, her makeup streaked down her face, and for the first time ever, she looked small. Adam begged me to come home with him, but I shook my head. No, Adam, you didn't protect me. You let her do all this. I need time away from you too. He sobbed. He actually sobbed like a child. I'll spend my life making this right. I simply replied, we'll see. The caseworker arranged temporary housing for me, a small apartment where I could finally breathe. And the cottage, the one they tried so hard to steal. I visited it the next morning. The lilacs were blooming. The porch was dusty. The air smelled like memories. I placed my hand on the wooden railing and whispered, I'm home. I restored the house, cleaned it slowly, room by room, reclaimed every inch of the life they tried to take from me. Months later, the court awarded me full control of everything. My pension, my property, my finances. Vanessa was sentenced. Adam entered therapy. We still speak sometimes, but very cautiously. And me, I became stronger than ever. Because here's what people don't understand. When you hurt an old woman, you don't break her, you awaken her. And when she rises with a fire that cannot be put out.